Have you ever felt caught in a loop, experiencing the same challenges in relationships, money, or career, no matter how hard you try to break free? It's a feeling of being stuck, as if an unseen force is dictating your life's trajectory. We often attribute this to bad luck, fate, or external circumstances. But Owen Hermstring exposes a far more profound and startling truth. Your reality is being governed by an invisible contract, a complex web of subconscious beliefs, inherited patterns, and deeply ingrained societal conditioning that you unknowingly agreed to early in life, and which now dictates your dominant energetic broadcast and, consequently, every aspect of your experience. This invisible contract is not a legal document you signed in a boardroom. It's a silent, energetic agreement etched into the very fabric of your subconscious mind. It's the operating system running beneath your conscious awareness, dictating your default thoughts, your automatic emotional responses, and the fundamental identity you broadcast to the universe. Hermstring posits that you are not a victim of circumstance, but an unwitting signatory to an invisible contract. Every unexamined belief, every inherited pattern is a clause you agreed to, and your reality is merely the enforcement of its terms. This means that if a clause in your invisible contract states, "I am destined for struggle," or "love is painful," or "success requires immense sacrifice," then that is precisely the energetic frequency your field transmits. And the universe, as a perfect and impartial mirror, dutifully reflects those terms back to you, creating a reality that continuously validates the conditions of your unseen agreement. This explains the feeling of perpetual stagnation. You are trying to manifest something outside the predetermined terms of your contract, which is energetically impossible without a conscious renegotiation. The insidious nature of this trap lies in its invisibility. Because you agreed to it unknowingly, these clauses operate outside your conscious awareness. You cannot fight what you cannot see. This silently siphons your creative power, keeping you focused on validating who you think you are based on these old agreements, rather than empowering you to become who you truly desire to be. For instance, an individual might have an invisible contract clause stating, "Money is hard to get, and it corrupts." This belief, inherited from family narratives or cultural conditioning, acts as a powerful energetic block. Despite consciously desiring wealth, their subconscious continuously broadcasts this scarcity frequency, manifesting as persistent financial struggle, unexpected expenses, or missed opportunities for abundance. Their reality is simply enforcing the terms of the invisible contract they unknowingly signed. Similarly, someone burdened by an invisible contract around relationships might carry a clause like, "I have to sacrifice myself to be loved," or "all good partners are already taken." This subconscious agreement dictates their energetic broadcast, leading them into recurring patterns of unhealthy relationships, unrequited love, or chronic loneliness. The external reality becomes a relentless echo of the internal contract. Understanding this fundamental concept, that your suffering, your limitations, and your recurring patterns are not random acts of fate, but meticulously enforced terms of an unseen agreement, is the first, most crucial step towards reclaiming your power. It is the awakening that reveals the true source of your struggle and prepares you to consciously begin the radical work of renegotiating the terms of your own existence. If the invisible contract truly exists, etched into your subconscious, how does it actually show up in your reality? Owen Hermstring offers a startling answer. Your most persistent, frustrating, and seemingly unavoidable challenges are not random acts of misfortune. They are, in fact, the signature of your suffering, meticulously crafted manifestations of the clauses within your unseen agreement. If your life feels like a broken record, playing the same old tune of struggle, limitation, or heartbreak, it's because the invisible contract is actively enforcing its terms, broadcasting them into your field and compelling the universe to reflect them back. Hermstring is clear. Your recurring patterns are not bad luck or destiny. They are the universe's consistent enforcement of the terms you've unknowingly agreed to. In his seminal work, he states, "Your deepest, most persistent suffering is not random chaos. It is the meticulous enforcement of your invisible contract." Every recurring pattern is a clause whispering its terms into your reality, demanding attention, demanding renegotiation. This means that every time you hit a financial ceiling, every time you find yourself in the same type of unhealthy relationship, or every time you face the same career blockage, you are witnessing the direct, undeniable evidence of a subconscious agreement at play. These patterns are the proof, the undeniable printouts of the contract's clauses, continuously whispering their terms into your energetic field and solidifying your reality. Let's look at concrete examples of how this contract manifests. Consider someone who repeatedly finds themselves in relationships with emotionally unavailable partners, despite consciously yearning for deep connection. The signature of their suffering in relationships might point to an invisible contract clause like, "Love is painful and requires chasing," or "I must fix others to be worthy of love." Their subconscious is broadcasting this specific dynamic, and the universe consistently delivers partners who perfectly fit that mold, reinforcing the painful terms of the agreement. Or take the individual who, regardless of income, always seems to be in chronic debt or faces sudden, unexpected financial drains. This persistent struggle with money is a signature of a contract clause such as, "Money is hard to get and quickly lost," or "I don't deserve true abundance." Does the universe, reflecting this frequency, ensures that financial struggle remains a dominant theme in their reality? Similarly, in the realm of career, someone might repeatedly feel overlooked for promotions, face workplace drama, or find themselves in unsatisfying jobs even after trying to advance. This signature points to an invisible contract clause like, "My worth is tied to external validation," or "Work must always be a struggle." The recurring frustration is not random. It's the consistent echoing of a subconscious agreement that they are not inherently valuable or that their path must be arduous. The uncomfortable truth that Hermstring exposes is that this suffering is not arbitrarily imposed upon you. It is self-generated through the terms of your invisible contract. This realization, while initially daunting, is profoundly empowering. It shifts you from a position of passive victimhood to one of radical responsibility. If your suffering is a signature of what you've unknowingly agreed to, then the path to freedom lies in consciously identifying and renegotiating those very terms. Your recurring patterns are not roadblocks, they are signposts, guiding you directly to the clauses of the contract that demand your attention and your conscious intervention. You've seen how the invisible contract manifests in your recurring patterns, dictating the tune of your life. But if you agreed to this unknowingly, where did these powerful limiting clauses actually come from? Owen Hermstring guides us through a crucial energetic archaeology, urging us to trace the origins of these agreements. He reveals that these contracts are not random downloads. They are intricately woven from the most formative and vulnerable experiences of our lives, becoming the original signatures on a document we never consciously reviewed. Hermstring posits that the clauses of your invisible contract were often signed in silence, scribbled into your energetic field during moments of vulnerability, a childhood wound, an ancestral whisper, a cultural decree. To rewrite your destiny, you must first trace the original hand that wrote its terms, for only then can you consciously reclaim your energetic pen. These origins fall into several key categories, each contributing to the complex tapestry of your default broadcast. First, and arguably most powerfully, are childhood narratives and family imprints. As children, our energetic fields are incredibly porous, absorbing everything around us. What did you hear consistently about money? Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for every penny. What were the unspoken rules about love and relationships? Love is conditional. Arguments are normal. you must sacrifice yourself. What was the prevailing attitude towards success or failure? These early messages, whether spoken or observed, became your foundational beliefs about reality. If your parents constantly struggled financially, your subconscious might have signed a clause, "Struggle is normal," and your energetic field broadcasts this scarcity, perpetuating the pattern. These early imprints become a child's default understanding of how the world works, their very first unchallenged broadcast frequency. Second, the contract often carries ancestral imprints and generational patterns. Beyond your immediate family, patterns of health, wealth, or relationships can stretch back through generations. These are not always consciously taught, but are subtly passed down energetically or through unspoken assumptions and collective experiences. You might find yourself repeating cycles that no one in your immediate family openly discusses, but that have been present in your lineage for decades. Owen Hermstring suggests these are inherited energetic templates that guide your subconscious broadcast, deeply embedded clauses that dictate a default trajectory unless consciously addressed. For example, a family history of trauma or victimhood can translate into a subconscious contract that says it's not safe to truly thrive. Third, cultural and societal conditioning plays a massive role. The pervasive messages from media, education, and cultural norms subtly dictate what it means to be successful, beautiful, worthy, or happy. These external pressures create large-scale agreements that affect millions, telling you what you should broadcast to fit in or be accepted. The pressure to perform, to be perfect, or to adhere to specific gender roles often stems from these widely accepted, yet deeply limiting societal clauses. They become part of your contract because you implicitly agree to them in your effort to belong. Finally, past traumas and wounds can forge powerful, restrictive clauses in your invisible contract. A significant rejection, a deep betrayal, or a profound loss can lead to protective beliefs that, while initially serving as shields, eventually become energetic shackles. Phrases like, "It's safer to be alone," "I can't trust anyone," or "If I put myself out there, I'll get hurt," are powerful, fear-based broadcasts rooted in these past hurts. The subconscious, in its attempt to protect you from future pain, enforces these clauses, leading to patterns of self-sabotage and missed opportunities. Understanding these origins is not about assigning blame. It is about shining the light of awareness on the unseen forces that have shaped your current reality. You cannot renegotiate a contract if you don't know its terms or where they came from. Tracing these origins is the essential first step to disarmament, allowing you to move from being an unwitting signatory to becoming the conscious author of your energetic destiny. You've unearthed the origins of your invisible contract, those deep, unseen agreements that dictate your reality. But how does this contract remain active, tirelessly broadcasting its terms into your life, even after you've become aware of its existence? Owen Hermstring points to one of the most pervasive, yet subtle energetic traps: the loop of validation. This is the relentless cycle of seeking approval from others, a seemingly harmless human desire that, in Hermstring's view, constantly reinforces the contract's limiting clauses, ensuring you remain bound by its low frequencies and preventing you from ever broadcasting your authentic, sovereign signal. The pursuit of external validation is a direct broadcast of energetic dependency. Every time you tailor your opinions to fit in, modify your appearance to please, or hold back your true self to avoid disapproval, you are energetically declaring, "My worth is determined by others." This isn't just a psychological phenomenon, it's a profound energetic transaction. Your field becomes attuned to external signals, constantly scanning for affirmation rather than generating its own intrinsic, self-contained frequency. Hermstring is precise in his warning. The pursuit of external validation is a constant signature on your invisible contract of limitation. Every time you seek approval, you are broadcasting a frequency that says, "My worth is determined by others," and the universe, in its precise mirroring, will obligingly reflect back a reality where your worth remains constantly in question, always contingent on the next external approval. This creates a vicious, self-perpetuating loop. You seek validation because you feel unworthy, a clause in your contract, and the act of seeking it reinforces the clause that your worth is conditional, thus ensuring you continue to feel unworthy without external affirmation. This trap drains your power in multiple ways. Firstly, it creates a fragmented signal. While you might consciously desire freedom and autonomy, the act of people-pleasing broadcasts a conflicting signal of dependency. The universe receives a mixed message, leading to inconsistent or frustrating outcomes. Secondly, it anchors a conditional worthiness clause into your energetic contract. You only feel good enough when validated, making your internal frequency unstable and low, always fluctuating based on external opinion. This is exhausting. The constant vigilance, emotional labor, and anxiety associated with seeking approval consume an immense amount of energetic resources, leaving you depleted and unable to generate a powerful, clear broadcast of your true desires. Consider the professional who constantly seeks praise from their boss, unable to trust their own judgment. This reinforces a subconscious clause that says, "I'm only competent if validated by authority figures," keeping them stuck in a loop of seeking external affirmation rather than trusting their internal guidance. Or the person in a relationship who constantly adapts their personality to please their partner, fearful of disapproval. They reinforce a contract that dictates, "I am only lovable if I conform," attracting conditional love and perpetuating their own feelings of inauthenticity. Even seemingly positive validation can be a trap if it reinforces external dependency. It might feel good in the moment, but it still strengthens the underlying clause that your worth isn't inherent. Breaking free from this loop requires a radical act of self-sovereignty, choosing to broadcast your authentic frequency, your true I am, regardless of external feedback. It's about recognizing that your worth is intrinsic, not contingent, and that the only signature that truly matters on your contract is your own. You've courageously faced the invisible contract, identified its terms, seen how it manifests suffering, and understood how the loop of validation keeps it active. Now comes the most critical question: how do you break free? Owen Hermstring offers a radical and deeply empowering answer. You don't escape the contract. You consciously renegotiate its terms. This isn't about running away from your reality, but about actively taking back your energetic pen and rewriting the subconscious agreements that have dictated your life. Hermstring's process for renegotiation relies on three core pillars: conscious awareness, radical acceptance, and deliberate redeclaration. He posits, to break an invisible contract, you must first see its terms in the light of conscious awareness. Then, you must accept what was, without judgment, to release its energetic hold. Only then can you sign your new terms, not with a pen, but with the full force of your sovereign frequency. This is not a passive mental exercise. It is an active, energetic disarmament and rearmament. The first step is conscious identification and illumination. You cannot renegotiate a contract if you don't know what's in it. This means bringing the subconscious beliefs, the clauses of your contract, into the light of your conscious awareness. This involves the decoding practices we discussed, such as journaling about recurring patterns, paying attention to your automatic negative thoughts, and observing your emotional triggers. For example, if you keep attracting financially irresponsible partners, you might identify the subconscious belief, "I am responsible for everyone's well-being," or "love requires financial sacrifice." You must see the clause clearly, without judgment. Second comes radical acceptance, not judgment. This is a crucial nuance. Once you identify a limiting clause, the ego's first reaction might be judgment. Why did I ever agree to that? I'm so stupid for thinking that. This judgment, however, adds more low-frequency energy to the old contract, making it even harder to dissolve. Radical acceptance means acknowledging the belief was formed, perhaps for protection in childhood or absorbed from your lineage, and simply recognizing it for what it is, an outdated energetic program, without attaching blame or shame. This acceptance creates neutrality around the belief, which begins to dissolve its energetic charge and release its hold on your field. It's like admitting you signed a bad contract without beating yourself up for it. Third is active dissolution and deliberate redeclaration. Once a clause is identified and accepted without judgment, you can then consciously, energetically dissolve it. This can involve powerful visualization practices, like imagining yourself tearing up an old document or cutting energetic cords to the old belief. Some find somatic release exercises, like shaking or deep breathing, helpful in physically releasing the stored energy. This creates an energetic void where the old clause used to be. Then, and only then, do you redeclare your new terms, actively signing a new contract with the universe. This is where your "I am" statements from topic 2 become incredibly potent. You don't just say them. You infuse them with the full emotional force of embodiment, radiating this new frequency into your field. You replace "I am not worthy of abundance" with "I am a magnificent creator of abundant reality," and feel the truth of that declaration deep within your being. This conscious renegotiation is not a one-time event. It's a continuous practice. Old patterns might resurface, requiring renewed vigilance and renegotiation. But by consistently engaging in this powerful process, you systematically override outdated energetic programs, clear your field of limiting frequencies, and align your entire being with the reality you truly desire. It transforms you into a powerful, deliberate broadcaster, ready for the life that flows from your sovereign choice. You've journeyed deep into the unseen forces controlling your reality. You've exposed the invisible contract, traced its insidious origins, dismantled the loops of validation, and bravely renegotiated its binding terms. Now, what is the ultimate outcome? Owen Hermstring reveals that this profound transformation culminates in the emergence of your sovereign signature, a life lived unbound by unseen chains, where your reality is a conscious creation, your frequency is truly your own, and you operate from a place of radical freedom and inner authority. The sovereign signature is the magnetic broadcast of a being who is no longer defined by subconscious agreements or external expectations. It is the pure, unadulterated frequency of your authentic self, fully aligned with your highest potential. With the old contract dissolved and new terms signed, your energetic field transmits an undeniable signal of liberation and self-mastery. Hermstring eloquently captures this pinnacle. The true master is not one who controls reality, but one who controls their broadcast. To live unbound is to operate from a sovereign signature, where every frequency you emit is a conscious declaration of your true unchained being. This means that your desires manifest not from desperate wishing, but from the effortless resonance of who you inherently are. There's no energetic friction, no hidden blocks. The path to your desires becomes clear and abundant. This liberated life manifests as a continuous flow of authentic opportunities and deeply fulfilling experiences. For instance, the individual who used to struggle with chronic debt due to an invisible contract of scarcity now finds financial abundance flowing effortlessly because their sovereign signature broadcasts trust, gratitude, and creative value. They are not just attracting money, they are attracting a life of financial freedom. The person who once suffered in dysfunctional relationships, bound by agreements of conditional love or sacrifice, now finds themselves surrounded by harmonious, deeply connected bonds, because their sovereign signature radiates wholeness and unconditional love. They are not seeking love, they are embodying it. In their career, the sovereign broadcaster finds their work feeling purposeful and inspiring, with opportunities aligning seamlessly. Not because they're chasing, but because their broadcast of unique talent and contribution is unmistakable. This new way of living is characterized by a profound inner peace and an unwavering trust in your own guidance. Decisions come from an intuitive knowing, rather than external validation or fear of judgment. You are no longer reacting to life, you are actively co-creating it from a place of conscious choice. While the chains of the invisible contract are broken, Hermstring reminds us that maintaining this sovereign signature is an ongoing practice. Life will present new experiences, new desires, and perhaps even old patterns might briefly resurface. But now, armed with the knowledge of decoding, renegotiation, and redeclaration, you possess the ultimate tools to continuously retune your frequency, ensuring your reality forever expands as a vibrant, authentic reflection of your unbound being. This is the ultimate freedom, to be the conscious author of your own energetic destiny. If Owen Hermstring's message resonated and you're ready to live unbound, join our community. Subscribe to the channel now and hit the notification bell. We're dedicated to helping you master your energetic signature. Leave a comment below and tell us, what hidden contract are you ready to rewrite today? Let's claim our sovereign freedom together.